recording.
Excuse me.
Easy there, killer.
Ooh. Yo, I'm back on that diet. So that's another new thing since last time we met.
You back on the gluten-free diet?
I mean, yes, that's a part of it. But the elimination diet, so it's a whole bunch of stuff I'm not eating.
Oh.
But
okay.
I changed my mindset on it, so it doesn't feel as miserable this time. Before, I was just super focused on everything I can't eat. But now I'm focused on like, all right, I'm gonna just eat, like, focus on fruit and vegetables, and then I like eat meat as it comes up, and like that usually that just keeps me safe for a lot. As you are so childish.
I'm sorry, I'm not
so
matured from this conversation. I'm sorry,
You're so
man. I'm
childish.
I'm sorry.
So anyway, that I just like had some it's like some type of dip. It's like a buffalo dip, but it's vegan buffalo dip, and I just wasn't expecting it to be good. But it's actually pretty good. And that burp tastes like it. I just needed you to know that.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's a roundabout way of telling you.
Yeah, there was a message in that lesson. Just controlling what we can control.
That is.
Looking at the bright spots of things.
That is. That actually, even the past few months in life, that's like been something that I've really been focused on and trying to learn and implement in my life. Is it's all about the mindset. Like, even me trying to start a whole new career in something that is very foreign to me. It's like the mindset has been the thing I needed to change this whole time. And now I like look at everything as like having higher probability of like me actually achieving what I think I want to achieve. So it's like made me more excited. I'm not anxious about posting videos. I'm not anxious about making videos or anything like that. It's more freeing. I've actually been trying to like kind of implement like the Warriors mentality, like the Golden State Warriors. I've heard Coach Kerr talk about like how he tries to implement stuff that he's learned from being coached by like Phil Jackson, Greg Popovich, and like kind of like a controlled free flow of like how he runs the team. Like it's very improv. Like the game of basketball is very much improv, but there's still like a lot of control behind it, and like there's all this training that you do to get to this place to understand and see things and just react and know things before you even know that you're reacting, essentially. And just like the flow state of that. And so I've been like trying to be a warrior when I'm not athletic at all. So it's nice. It's really nice.
That should be the name of your book.
What? Trying to be a warrior when you're not athletic at all?
That's the full book title. No, I was gonna say channeling the warrior within.
Oh, that is cheesy enough to work. Absolutely,
it would work. It would definitely work. I can see you make Oprah's book color up with that. Oprah, I was at a very low point in my life, Oprah. I couldn't eat cakes and treats anymore. And I just didn't know what I would do with myself.
Yo, like, it's gotten to the point where I have broken down to like going to Trader Joe's. I hate Trader Joe's. Just there's the philosophy of it. It's like, I mean, even though it's a good company, all that stuff, it's just the type of people that go to Trader Joe's.
Yeah, they're just pretentious people.
Yeah,
just assholes, to be quite frank.
They are.
I don't
they
like
just,
that demographic.
Same with like Whole Foods. Like I will not step foot in Whole Foods. Like I just can't. It's the same thing. So I was in there, and Tasha, while we were checking out, because we were with another friend. It was really the friend who drove us there, and that's the reason we were there. We wouldn't have gone by ourselves. And Tasha was like, yeah, this is the first time I've ever been to Whole Foods. And the guy was like, oh, really? And then she was like, yeah.
Judgmental. That was a judgmental old really too, asshole. Let me talk about those people. Any group of people that's gonna judge me for my love for Publix chicken is no friend of mine. All right, you can keep your little presumptuous friendship, judgmental, real passive, judgy. You can keep it. I don't need it in my life. That's all they give you now.
It's so
yeah, we
annoying.
don't. We don't have any plastic bags here. We just don't. We don't believe in nigga. Don't think this. Don't try to do this right here. Don't do this. Trying to out whatever me. I don't even know what they call it. It's just whatever. I feel the MAGA crowd on that with these group
They're
of people.
thinking about the turtles, you know?
Man,
Like, why aren't you
alright.
thinking about the turtles when you're going to the store and buying salsa? Huh?
Cause nigga, I'm hungry. Just like the turtle is. I get hungry too.
And turtles eat lettuce, so you can eat lettuce. And
I'm not a turtle.
yeah, whatever.
They do run fast though. Have you ever seen a turtle run?
Mm-hmm.
They run really fast.
You
It's
know,
actually like
I'm a nature
Yeah.
kid. I know. Yeah,
My
they're not as slow as people try to
my
treat
cousin, little cousin, she has a turtle. And so he took it out and it just started running. And it was, oh, he's fast. He can get out of here if he wanted to.
I think it's
yeah.
like the younger they are, the faster they are. As they get older, they get really slow. But I mean, the same with humans.
True. Touche. Touche. Maybe the Ninja Turtles wasn't that far off after all. Maybe that's our like direct genetic descendant is turtles. This whole time they've been saying monkeys, but it's really Raphael and Leonardo was like our predecessors. I'm gonna have to ponder on that.
It's hilarious.
Have to ponder on that. How you be, buddy? It's been a little while. Hey.
It has. I think I'm good. I'm trying to figure out just life, you know? I feel like I'm in a good spot.
That's
Really
good.
trying
Somebody's
to-
got a birthday coming up.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, my cousin's birthday is tomorrow. Yep.
I wasn't talking about your cousin.
You didn't expect that to go there, did you?
I didn't. And I really didn't. Is this Scott's oldest brother?
Oh, you just assume it was Scott.
My bad.
That's just creepy.
Them only like that's like it's only two cousins you ever talk about.
That's
honestly,
so
if
creepy.
you relate to Kyle and you another cousin, you've been close to him. He don't ever bring you up, so I don't know what your relationship was like growing up. But he only has brought up two cousins to me. That's all I know is of two.
I mean, those are, to be honest.
and that's for the record. That's like the Guinness World Record for lowest amount of cousins from a black person is two. Like
Right.
Kyle said it.
To be fair, those are like the closest cousins I've had growing up. So like I don't have many other cousins that were my age that I like grew up with. So
That makes sense.
Scott like grew up in my neighborhood, 2 years older than me. His brother is like 6 years older than me, and I'm not really close to him. But then, like our other cousins that were our age grew up in Iowa, and they only came for the summers. So it was just like, I really have a pretty small family.
You relate
Not
to niggas
like
in Iowa. That's another Guinness World Record. You just setting records today.
But I have a really small family, so I don't. A lot of people talk about, black people specifically talk about like family and cousins and family reunions. Like mine be so small, like it just be a backyard of people. Like it's just a normal weekend for any other family, but it's our whole family reunion.
That's funny. Yeah, I get it. I mean, both my families are spread out, but I get it. They both pretty sizable on both sides. But They just be all over the place.
Yeah. And I should say that's more my mom's side. My dad's side, definitely are more, but I just didn't see them as often.
Word.
Yeah. But how are you?
I'm good, baby. You see, I'm iced out today. I just signed a record deal with Slip and Slide Records, baby. We coming back.
I don't even remember who that is. Like who is on Slip and
That's
Slide?
like Trick Daddy and Trina.
Okay.
And early Rick Ross was on Slip and
Was
Slide.
he?
Too. Yeah.
Because that is Florida, ain't it?
Yeah.
They all out of Florida.
Yeah.
Trick lot of kids.
We bringing Slip and Slide back.
It's just, you're the most random person I know.
What's funny is that I've been down this rabbit hole of like, I don't, for some reason I'm becoming that person that's like into like old gangster histories of cities and like the record labels that was like, because every record label was associated with like a real street person. So now I've been like connecting the dots between what record label was started by who or who was associated, who fronted the money for the label, the drug money that they cleaned up through the record label, all types of stuff that I just, because that history's out there. So I've been learning about Baby and Slim and they brother out of New Orleans and you know the Hot Boys, right?
Yeah.
They was named after Baby's brother's like crime syndicate or like his little crime group gang or whatever in New Orleans.
Dang.
Yeah, so I was down a rabbit hole. He was doing some Vlad interviews, so I was down a rabbit hole watching his interviews, talking about coming up in New Orleans, because it was like, it's actually amazing he's alive. He said he was shot 6 times over his life.
Dang, like just 6 different instances of being shot.
I don't know if it was 6 different, but it was 6 times as a whole. It might have been, I think it was like 3 different times, but multiple, like. It was, each time was like 2 times or 2 or 3 he was shot, but he's been shot. It might have been 6, but the way he told the story was like he only named 3. But I don't know. Either way, he's really lucky to be, and he's free now. He had a life sentence and he got out.
Baby?
Because that's not Baby.
Oh, I thought you were talking about Baby. Okay.
No, Baby was he was under his own stuff too, but like Baby was a little older than him. But this is his younger half brother. His name is Terrence Gangster Williams. And he was he's Baby's little younger brother, and in the 90s he was just running amok through New Orleans and like really just out here living like the life for real. And then he caught a life sentence for something. He was in jail for 20 years, and then like I guess he went to the prosecution. Cause he's telling the story. I guess like the longer you in prison, you just learn the law. Like he was like, yeah, I knew all these loopholes, so I was trying to get out. So I guess he went to somebody, or somebody came to him about like, can you tell me who committed these crimes? And so he snitched, but it wasn't for him. He said it was like, it wasn't snitching to him because all the people he was telling on were dead. They were dead too. They just were the ones who killed the person that opened. Yeah. So he like told and was like, yeah, I'm trying to get free. So these dead people, I'm not telling nobody alive or snitching on nobody alive.
And it still worked in his favor, even though
it worked. He got out off of that. He out off of the strip of that. Yeah.
I never see that happening in my crime shows that I watch.
Yeah, it happened. But I guess he said for the prosecutor or the people trying to solve it, it's a big deal for them if they can solve the case.
If they can actually close it.
Yeah, if they close the case. Yeah, it's like so it's big. So yeah.
Interesting.
And Baby shunned him for snitching.
Of course. I'm so sick of the anti-snitching thing, even though I'm not a part of the street life at all. I don't fully get it. But like,
I get it on some level. I get it a little bit. But go ahead. What were you about to say?
I know, but I'm saying like it's just I might be the one to snitch. That's all I'm saying. Like it just might happen.
So my thing with snitching, I think, and this is where I get where they coming from. I feel, because in my mind, well, this is snitching to me. I don't think, like, if you witness a crime and you had nothing to do with it, I don't think that's snitching. But if you were like actively involved with the crime and then you snitch on your like co-conspirators, as they would say,
yeah,
and you get lesser time than them off the strength, I don't respect that. Like that's what I wouldn't. I would never. That's something I wouldn't do. I would not tell on somebody just to get. I think that's low down, but
yeah,
I don't
I
think
agree.
like. But I'm not with the whole like. But I also get this too though. I'm not with the whole like. Oh, I'm not snitching because I'm not talking to police, even though you don't have nothing to do with it, or this could solve. Justice could be served for somebody who lost their life, all that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get. But also like also get the fear of it too though. Of like, yo, I don't want to like the fear of retaliation. Like I don't want nothing to come back on my family if I tell. You know what I mean? That I get that fear too. So it's like, but yeah, I get aspects of it.
I just feel like it's like even you saying that it's super circumstantial, and
right.
I just
true.
think just the general just no snitching no matter what thing is like that's what I don't get. Like I do think there are certain circumstances where it's just like I might if I saw this happen like I'm talking about it. But it's if it's like something against like a drug cartel and I know they got power, I might not say anything because I don't think I'm gonna get away with it.
I don't know nothing. I'm definitely not saying. What? That's what they was doing.
But if it's like
that's what was in them boxes was drugs,
right? That's what I'm saying. Like if it's just
I would act just as surprised as the police when they told me what they was doing all that.
But at the same time, I could never get caught up in it because I'm a terrible liar. Like I'm so bad. Even just jokingly, I'll like try to lie about stuff to people, and they're just like, "Kyle, why are you lying?" Like I know you're not telling. It's just like what really happened, and yeah. So I would be found out anyway, and I'd be the one that like I actually didn't say anything, but they think I lied because
you acting just real jumpy around.
Right,
now.
Just like
why you take off today? Where was you really at?
I would be that dude.
That's funny. You be acting like Huey was acting with the boss.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's exactly what I thought about.
But yeah, I've been down like these rapper rabbit holes lately, and so his story, '90s New Orleans is interesting to me in general now, cause like that's how I learned. So he the reason Master P and Baby never did a song together. It all comes full circle. That's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm saying. This knowledge is useful for something. Like this stuff is interesting. He the reason they ain't never we never got a No Limit Cash Money collaboration. It's because of Baby's brother.
But how? Like what happened with that?
So it's like I guess it's some hood politics stuff. So Master P is from the Calio Projects. Okay. And Terrence, they Magnolia associated, but they not from Magnolia. I don't think Baby and they from another project that's close to Magnolia. Anyway, but they was tight with Magnolia people though. Anyway, and so Master P's not his brother, but like one of his partners who was in the streets though ended up getting killed, and they pretty much sure that Baby's brother did it or he know who did it or had something to do with it, and so they just never was cool off that. Like they like Baby and Master P are like cordial. Like Master P was like we speak, but they never could do a song together because they people was beefing on the street. You know, it was an active beef, so it was like we can't do that. You know what I mean? So, So that's the story.
Dang. Street life.
Never got a Mystical and Juvenile song. I think they did a song at this point, but I'm talking about back at their peak though. That'd have been a cut. Mystical and Juvenile on one song. Oh man, with Manny Fresh on the boards. Oh man, we missed out. We missed out on some stuff.
That's funny.
Lil Wayne and C Murder. Baby and Silk the Shocker.
Okay, we could have dealt without that.
No, I want to hear it. Let's just get it. Let's see what they come up with.
That would be in history as one of the worst rap
Especially
songs
in 99,
ever.
2000.
One
Baby would have talked
rap
about his platinum
ever.
football field.
That would have been in history book in
They were
Guinness
saying
World
some
Records.
like outrageous stuff in them raps back then. Baby said he had a platinum football field. Like, why do you have a platinum football field though? What's the point of this? Because you can't run on it, you gonna mess it up. So what's the point of this platinum football? Like,
I mean,
and secondly, why are you lying about? You don't gotta say that. You don't gotta say you got a platinum football field.
that's why I don't. I've been going down another rabbit hole of like old school rap, trying to like. I've been trying to build a case, an argument against one of my just like older friends. He's like almost 50, and he's very
That Curtis Blow. Now that Curtis Blow was saying something.
but he's just like so anti like this modern music, and like basically we just like kept challenging the stuff he was saying, and I'm just like, okay, so basically to sum it up for you, anybody who's not talking about struggle is a bad rapper. like they have to talk about struggle. And it made me think of that old Tube Steak video. Like, what type of real nigga don't struggle? Just
Classic video.
so it's just funny. So I'm like really trying to build a case of like, when did rap actually become good? Because it wasn't when it started for sure. Like they were mostly trash until like the late 80s is when rap actually began.
I would say
good.
LL Cool, but even his early stuff is. But he got some. He's
But
still
still,
rapping that eight.
But
It's
that's
still in that
late
80s.
80s.
Yeah.
And
I would
like-
say when LL and Run DMC, but they
And
still
like-
kind of.
They're like respected in a way that like they bridged a gap that hadn't been done before, like with mixing of like rock and rap and hip hop, but they're not really respected like that, like in terms of just being like
Nah,
real
not like,
good.
They're not cool. Not like to us. Like,
Yeah.
they're not like The first, I would say LL might have been the first cool '80s rapper,
right,
and then
like
after that,
Granddaddy Kane, like Kumo D, Rakim, like all
they
them.
all was kind of cool. Like they,
Right.
but they're not cool to me. Well, they kind of. I guess they kind of. That's when I guess that is when rap became cooler. Is like them, like Big Daddy Kane, Rakim,
Yeah.
Kumo D, Cool G Rap.
Mm-hmm. But like this
Uh,
dude I'm talking about, his favorite all-time rapper is KRS-One. And I've never
Oh.
really listened to KRS-One before,
It's
so I
very
like,
political.
yeah, but all his stuff isn't though. And there were some songs that I was like, oh, I didn't even know this was KRS-One. Like I wouldn't have been able to.
Oh word.
But like some of it, yeah, a lot of his stuff is, but I actually was like, oh, I actually really like his flow. Like his flow is like very unique, and I didn't know that he even rapped
I gotta,
like that.
I gotta go down to KR because everything when I think of him, I do think of like that older like flow, '80s or like
yeah,
that's how I think KRS-One
like
raps.
like early
Slick
Busta
Rick is
Rhymes.
another cool rapper, by the way. Yeah, exactly like that. Slick
Yeah.
Rick is another cooler rapper too. He brought
Mhm.
like but yeah, no, I gotta go down the rap and listen to something or whatever. But yeah, he's old school to me though. Yeah,
Yeah, he
KRS-One
is.
old. Honestly, I feel like the first like modern rap star was Biggie. Actually,
Yeah, probably.
I think the first I think he was like the template for like how you can build a rapper up after him. For like, I think because I think every other rapper before that was like had elements that Big, but I think Big put it all together and was like a real star. He could really rap though,
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't go too far with lyricism either. Like he probably could do even more complex stuff rhyme wise, but he stayed in a certain pocket that was like radio friendly. And I don't think before that, and I think most rappers before that with his rapping ability would have went super lyrical and just been, yo, this real hip hop I'm doing, you know what I mean? That bag, which is not, but I think Big, like, well, and it was Puffy's, obviously, his like
Direction.
kinda, like, creative direction. Yeah, but they made him kind of like, all right, like very digestible in a way that wasn't before. Yeah.
Only reason I disagree with that, not saying that that's not true, but I do think there were some rappers before him that, like, I mean, they just rap smooth and cool. Like that was
Well, Slick, but he was a full total package, is what I'm saying. Like you're right. Like Slick Rick is a clear. LL got some songs where he raps a little smoother. I'm trying to think back from the '80s. I'm trying to think. Big Daddy. I don't know a lot of Big Daddy.
Big Daddy
stuff.
Kane for sure was like that first really cool, just like smooth, like had a very, I forget what you call it, like the tempo that he rapped with.
Did you say Big Daddy Cool, by the way?
Did I? I might have. Big Daddy Kane.
Hey, Big Daddy Cool's a wrestler.
Big Daddy Cool, all these people with the hippity hop and just LL Cool James and but I don't know, but it's just funny like going down that path with him. I'm not gonna tell you what actually started that conversation though, because you're gonna I think you would agree with him on that. And I really do feel like I'm on an island when I make these arguments about.
What's the argument? We don't gotta get into it. Just tell me what the argument is. We don't gotta go deep into it.
I don't even remember how it started. He brought up Logic, and I was just like,
okay, I already know.
And I was like, I mean, I said something along the lines that I thought Logic was going to be the future when he first came out. And he was like, what do you mean the future? And I was just like, I thought that he was going to be talked about as like one of the greats, but not of all time. I did not say of all time, but he heard me say of all time, but I didn't say that. But just like for that era, like for just like that next few years, essentially. But then he just disappointed me further and further. Like his first album is really good, and his second album, it's good, and then the third one is like decent, and then after that,
wait, what old boy think? Because I agree with what you're saying. What old boy say?
He was just like, absolutely not, like no. And I was like, have you listened to his first album though? And he was just
he's saying out the gate he wasn't even rocking
right.
with it. He never rocked with it.
Yeah. Because then he started talking about white rappers. He was like, it's just the thing with white rap. I was like, but he's not white. And then he was just like, well, yeah, I know he black, but he still got the same thing as like Macklemore and all them. He's just like, I just can't get with that. And he was like, I hear what you're saying, but still, you don't even have an argument if you haven't actually listened to his album. Like, if you haven't listened to that first album or even his second album, like, I don't want to hear it. Like, we can't really talk about it. So that's why I've been going back and listening to some of this older stuff, because I'm like, I can't really, with the same logic, I can't talk about the things that he loves if I haven't really listened to it or given it the time of day. But he just is like, nah, I can't rock with it. He corny. And no, that's how it started. We were talking about CHH, Christian hip hop, and like several of us were like, Christian hip hop is corny though. And he was just like, man, the cross movement, them boys brought it though. Like they was like, and I'm like, okay. He was like, they were innovators. They brought in like all this new, like they brought in talking about these intense gospel doctrines on wax and putting it on wax. And like when he said putting it on wax, I'm like, we're just talking two different eras. Like I don't know anybody who talks about putting it on wax. Like you old, bruh. So we're just like going back and forth. And I was like, okay, but just because they were innovators doesn't absolve them from being corny. It was still corny, like at the end of the day. Like even
hey, time out, I gotta stop you.
What's up?
Cause I went hard for cross movement. I had a whole year. That's all I was playing was cross movement. Like, we gonna live for Jesus out here.
It was funny. I mean, you know me. You know how hard I went for Christian hip hop. Like, I don't deny that.
But I'm laughing at that era because I'm just walking through like school listening to like, I'm trying to think of
like Shylin
and the Truth. No, it wasn't even Shy. It was the Truth. I was playing him.
Okay.
And then what's the other dude? It was like they was like the two biggest ones in that.
I thought it was Shylin.
Nah, he had another name. It's another dude. It's like
I know it was like 3 or 4 of them, but
I can't like forget this dude's name. But I was bumping him. I was bumping JR. JR had a little gospel R&B album. JR, the singer in the group.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, I was all up in that. I feel, bruh. I was rocking with Cross Movement. But now, like, if I go back now, it's corny to me. But in 06, 05, 06,
right,
it was all we had. Here we go.
The Ambassador.
That was my dude. Was the Ambassador? Yeah. I feel like we're talking about wrestling characters right now, but
that's what they sound like. Fanatic.
Yeah. The Cross Movement was like, man, they was from Philly. They from there. That makes they from Philly. Oh man. Yeah, the Ambassador.
But yeah, either way, like I appreciate what they did, and like they were dope, but it was still like fairly corny. And the more I keep thinking about it, the more I think about like I associate essentially what the Cross Movement was doing is what late 80s hip hop then started doing.
Yeah,
it's just like taking the just like real situations, talking about them, and like making it dope, and like putting it into better storylines and all this stuff. But they were doing it like a decade after that. Like it was, this had already been done, but now they just brought it into the Christian world, which brings up a whole nother conversation. Something else that I like really struggle with when it comes to Christian music is I think something you shared with me actually about like why is it that I think a person who wasn't a Christian brought up the point of Christians have God, like he is the author and creator, he's the most creative being, like if y'all serve him, why can't y'all be that creative with music? You know, it's like that's a good point. Like it's like usually Christian music takes its notes from secular music, and then we like envelop that and then make it our own thing. And that's more true now than it's ever been, though. I'm gonna be honest. That like blending, so like because I studied it. I love talking this stuff. Like so like gospel and like soul and R&B have always kind of like had a relationship. Like there's always been a relationship there. In the history of black music, there's always been some like either a gospel, somebody start singing in the church and go out and sing secular or whatever, or like somebody who grew up in that, once they get on as a secular artist, some of their songs will incorporate elements of gospel in it and all that type of stuff. That's always happened. The difference is nowadays, though, like you said, like it's way more overt and blatant. Because back in the day, like if you were a gospel artist and you sounded too secular, like you would have a hard time selling records. And there's artists who struggle, gospel artists who struggle with that, who had like a quote unquote secular sound or would take from. But within the scope of the church, it was like, yo, this sound like the devil's music, essentially. Right. And now I think that blend has happened more and more because we've become, I guess, in the church, I don't want to say more accepting, but just there's a way of, I guess, accepting, but also try to be less judgmental, like be more open-minded in terms of what we consider good music or gospel music or spiritual music, Christian music, whatever you want to call it. But I think
but I think now though it's like it's kind of too obvious what you're pulling from, whereas that wasn't always. Like you would like have to, I don't know, you just have to kind of have an ear for it to figure out back in the day, like because there's old songs I can listen to and be like, oh, that sound like this, or oh, I can tell they pulled from that. I can hear that, but I'm really listening and like, oh, okay, that chord changed there, whatever the case is. But now it's like this sounds like it's an artist. I'm not gonna name him. He's one of my favorite artists, but he's done like 2 songs now. That sound like basically Future karaoke. Like he sounds like he's just doing like a Future song, but putting like gospel on it. And it's like, okay, there might be a space for somebody to do that. I'm not gonna completely judge it like that. There might be a lane for somebody to do like a auto tune, singy, whatever.
Yeah.
But like, if it's too overt, I'm gonna just go listen to the real thing because you're making me.
Right.
You're making me want to hear the real thing because it's so obvious. Like I'm about to turn on Dirty Sprite 2 now because like this sounds just like what I really would rather listen to than this. And so I think that's the issue. Is like I don't know. I think the creativity has been gone for a while in like gospel. I hate to say it, but I think I think it's also I hate the sound. Now you got me on a tangent. But I hate to bring this up, but I feel like one thing I feel like also is an issue is aside from what you mentioned of like them kind of copying whatever is like trendy and like secular music. I just think like gospel has like pretty much compromised its sound to like fit more of a CCM type of sound, and I hate it with a passion. Like I hate it so much. Like it grinds my gears. Like it's one thing if you want to do CCM. I don't think that's like there's no color on that. You know what I mean? If you want to go grab your little acoustic guitar and get the strumming, go do that. But like gospel is a very distinct thing, and I think it's a sound that like we cultivated. That's cultivated out of our struggle, out of our pain, and to just like sacrifice that and water that down for the sake of like popularity, to be trendy. Or even like I don't know. Like I also think it's a racial element to it too, but I'm not even touching that yet. But also to kind of like try to demystify that sound too. That's also been my issue. Is like, okay, this acoustic CCM sound is more spiritual now. Oh wow, this churchy organ and all that is showy, and God don't take all that and all that. I feel like that's like rooted in like some level of like racism, as if that's not even a way to. God, you know what I mean? Like, there's power in that too. It's no like God isn't looking at either one with any more like, you know what I mean? I think it's really about the purity and the sincerity of the heart. But that's a whole
like
other.
God is looking at this as worship. It's all beautiful to Him. It doesn't matter.
But I think people have chased like something else because I don't know. I think there's implication that CCM sound and this, especially in American Christianity, is like the pure sound. Is like. We're really tapping in now with this acoustic guitar and just us. And it's cool. Like you might be, I'm not saying you're not, but this organ and these drums might be as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And don't just sacrifice that. That's my point. Sorry, I'm off the soapbox, baby. I had to get that out, Kira. Shear.
No, it's funny because
I'm playing. I'm messing. She's a friend of the show. She's in your city. She's friend of the show. Her and her husband.
A lot of people I've been seeing that conversation come up a lot. So I didn't think that we would ever talk about that here because I don't usually care for singing in general. So I'm like, I never have anything to like contribute to it. So I'm thankful that you wanted to get that off your chest. Because I know some people have issues with like Maverick City music and because they're kind of like exactly.
I didn't want to say names, but
I know you didn't, but I don't care. Like
they're in some of these conversations. You're right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just think it's funny. Yeah, it's weird though. Like I've really over the years have tried to like be more into like singing. I was like, I need to diversify. I don't want to just listen to rap all the time. But then I find myself,
if it was up to you, you would play that every day, all day.
Not really though, because I do get tired of it at times. Like it's just
not. I mean, in terms of like your Christian music catalog. Maybe that's what I meant. Like when you feel like you want to play something more.
Oh,
Like I feel like there was a point
probably.
where that's all you would play. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
Especially
yeah.
college, like
Yeah,
that was
sure.
it. That's all you would ever
Yeah.
hear coming
Right.
out of any of my speakers.
Mhm.
But yeah, but like while we were in college, that's when that like that started to change a little bit, where they started being less Christian hip hop and just sounding a little more secular, more secular.
That's
But-
when Christian was like the trend, like probably that was like its trendiest peak. I don't know where the state of it is right now because I don't listen to any really Christian at this point.
Yeah.
But back at that point, it felt like it was a trend. Like Lecrae was really putting out like kind of big projects that felt like it was reaching a lot of people. I feel like Christian hip hop was like really.
He's
like,
still
everybody-
number one. Like he's still been growing his platform.
Right. Yeah. But I feel like that was like the beginning, I would say. And but it wasn't just him though. I feel like there was a few other people within that also
Yeah.
were getting out, doing really.
I
big
say
stuff.
for him, for Lecrae, I think it was like 2008 or 9 when Rebel came out. That was like really what put him on the map, was that album. But that was because it like ushered in like the reformed theology of like, but like more of like the what we would kind of consider like the white theology in some ways, and like white voices, sermons, and like he would use like different
That was
clips.
the Piper days.
Yeah, that was John Piper, and then he
him
like
and Matt Chandler.
he began to like step that back once he started seeing like they don't actually really care about me as a black man, and he really started to struggle with that. Like listening to his story, I respect him a lot just because of that whole thing that he went through. All of that, he built all his success basically in white evangelical America, and then was just like, no, they don't care about me, and then started talking about these things and started actually seeing they really don't care about me, and then like was just depressed and started like popping pills and drinking more and like all kind of stuff. But then like had to like really redetermine who he is in Christ, and then he started making this other music with like these other secular artists, and like all these evangelical people are just like, you sold your soul and like you did all of this, and he's just
I still ain't found the site where I can go buy somebody's soul though. Everybody always selling them souls, but ain't nobody directing me where can I buy a soul. If it's like,
so it's just, I don't know, it's really interesting, all that world.
Yeah. Nah. But yeah, I think I don't know. I think in terms of like where Christian music is now, I don't know. I think it's not in a very creative place. That's just ultimately where I think it is now. I don't. Yeah.
Where does music go from here? That's something that's something that I keep
I think that's
asking.
a even larger scale issue. Is like, I don't think the model for how we consume or how music is created is sustainable. Like, I feel like it's almost like it's basically like how we've treated food in this country. Like, I mean, I'm sure like 50 years ago, you would have home cooked. Much more people were eating at home than eating out and eating fast food. Whereas for like nowadays with Uber Eats, especially millennials, like we'll cook maybe but a lot of people are eating out like all the time and getting their food fast and getting it whenever they want. And it's the same thing with music. And so like the creative process is like just kind of shortcutted in a lot of ways because it's more about quantity than quality, especially in streaming. It's like people are like, especially like Chris Brown just put out an album and I think it's got like 20-something songs, 30-something. And he's been doing that for a while. But a lot of artists are doing that. They're like putting out like 15, trying to get that streaming up. But that's I feel like that's often at the expense of quality though. And then because like even back in the day, like a lot of classic albums from like the 70s and 80s that are like like I'm talking on like Rolling Stone's top 5, top 10 list every year. They'll just always be like the gold standard. Like they
They
only
have
got
like
9
six.
songs.
Yeah, I was about to say they had like 6 tracks or something.
9 songs is like the standard, you know. And most of those albums are unskippable. Like every song is really good. Like Thriller, like I'm talking like that type of like Stevie Wonder Intervisions, like talking, but like every song is like well crafted, amazing. Like you know, could be a single at that level. And nowadays it's less focused on like, okay, let me put out my best foot and like really take time to craft this out because they're trying to, you know, get that streaming up. And there's artists who are go against that and have the means and the power to kind of like go against the grain, like Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar, Drake even, but Drake still is playing like the quantity game too though. Even Kanye to some extent is a person that's like going to take time to craft, but he's still even now playing more the stringing game too. But they all have like a level of power. But the average up and coming artist like has to kind of like that's the game you got to play if you trying to like actually make a career out of music. I feel like unless you either get signed and have a back, or I don't know, put yourself in a situation like you don't have to do that though. And I think ultimately, like the pendulum is gonna swing again, where people are like taking, all right, yo, let's actually take time to craft, you know, because there's artists who are doing that. They're just not as known right now.
Right.
But I think as a trend though, as where it is now, it's not sustainable at all. And the way we don't sit with albums either anymore. Like once you get an album, you, like the first week you might play.
You're ready to move on to the next.
Yeah.
And I have noticed that about myself, and I don't like it because I used to listen to an album just on repeat nonstop for maybe a month. I would almost know all the lyrics on it, and I just don't do that anymore. Now I'll listen to it a couple times and be like, this is good, and just like keep it moving. I'm like, all right, what else is out?
Yeah,
and
I did that with Kendrick's last album.
I did too, and I
didn't sit with that album.
Like
that
I don't.
Is an album you probably should sit with, but I didn't.
Yeah, so I like don't even. Like that same group I was talking about, like they asked, like, "Have y'all listened to Kendrick's album?" And I'm like, I don't even have anything to contribute to a conversation to it because I haven't really just like sat with it and like processed whatever he's talking about and everything. So I just didn't say anything because I don't know what to say.
Yeah, I don't even know if I have. Yeah, I don't have an opinion on his album yet either. And I did sit with it like the first week for like a couple days, but then I don't know. I think I'll be on Twitter, so I see a lot of other people's opinions, and I think that can like ultimately shape my own opinion.
Yeah.
Even subconsciously, it'd be like, all right, I don't really need to go back in. It's like seeing spoilers for something. It's like, all right, maybe this is what it's about, and then I just don't. But I did like the stuff I've heard. There's some stuff some songs where I was like, oh, okay, he really talking about some stuff here, but. I need to go back, but it ain't a lot of. I don't know. It's been a while since there was an album that really like excited me, and I was like, "Yo, like I can't stop playing this." I think the last album was this album by this singer. You heard of Sir?
Mm-hmm.
Sir is dope. He put out an album, Chasing Summer, in 2019. That's the last album that I was like really like. I can't stop playing this album. Like, it's like to me, it's a classic. It's like no skips on that album. It's like a throwback. Like, oh, this is really good stuff. But he TDE, you know, with Kendrick and them, they take time over there. So
they do.
But yeah, that joint was amazing.
Not bad. Well, back to the Warriors.
I figured you were going. I was like, he about to go back to them bums. The bum Warriors.
Bums. Hold on, let me shake my hair out the way. This is annoying. It's in my face all the time.
Your little bangs.
I need to like tie everything back so it's out the way. Although my hair is like super long.
You look like a G-Funk rapper now.
My hair is so long now. It's just curly, so it just curls up. Because that's what curly hair does. I don't know why I needed to explain that. But
DJ Bisquick. That should be your rap name.
I can't even eat Bisquick. It's depressing.
That's your tribute to Bisquick, is you naming yourself.
Yeah, man, it was a great time. It was a great time to be alive in mid-June.
That's crazy. I didn't. So you were at all the celebrations? I don't remember like seeing you with the team like at the parade or any.
That's messed up that you would say that. For the record, everybody, I texted him and I was like, I should have been there. I actually told Tasha I need to be at this parade. Like I just feel like I need to be there, and she's like, absolutely not. And I'm just like, fine, because we trying to like save up money for her to quit her job. So
Word.
I can't just fly for a parade.
You could. You could. Get on the PJ. Take off, come right back.
But yeah, it was a great time. Why was it a great time? Because everybody just wrote them off. Everybody. And I was like so sick of hearing it from people. I have a friend who's like a diehard Boston fan, like Patriots fan, Celtics fan, and just like even talking to you, like all these people that are just always want to go numbers. Let's talk about the numbers and statistics. And even all of that, I was still like, I still don't think that they're just going to win. Like, I'm just not giving it to them. On paper, yes, I agree. They were impressive. And I was like, this is going to be very challenging. I remember saying that this is probably the hardest team defensively that the Warriors have had to go against, but also like just athleticism, length, and size. I thought they were going to have a hard time defending them, but they didn't. I mean, they did. Like those first two games, or game one. I mean, they just gave them that game on game one.
Yeah,
but then
they really did.
Game three was like, yeah, that's kind of rough. But even after game two, I remember before the series started, I said Warriors in 7. But after I saw game 2, I was like Warriors in 6, because I think they were like slowly figuring them out. And by
they blew them out in game
by
2.
game 4, I was just like, yeah, it's over. But I didn't think they were gonna win 3 straight. I really thought Boston was gonna, but I also didn't.
I thought it was going 7 at least.
I also didn't
that's
think.
the most you can go, but
yeah, true.
I was like, please, yeah, no, that's it. That's the limit.
But yeah, man, they figured them out, because they're really, especially with like Tatum and Brown, like I've been watching a lot of like stuff after that, just watching everybody praise the Warriors, but then still write them off again for the next few years.
I'm not writing them off for next year, not at all.
And I'm just like, dude, they're their youngest talent that are already pretty decent. They're gonna be better, more ready for the challenge. Wiseman to be back. Hopefully he's like in good form. I don't know how much of a difference he'll make, but I'm hoping.
If he's good, he can make a huge man. That'd be nice if he's good. Actually, like, because he can do a lot of stuff for his size.
Yeah, he can, and that's why I think they've kept rolling with him even amidst all these injuries, because they really know that they got
like
something
good.
there.
I'm gonna be so mad if he's like actually what if he's like worth being the number 1? Like he's actually that good. He
I
lives up
mean,
to being the number 1 pick.
Who was it? Was it either Draymond or Steph? Somebody asked them. No, they asked Steph, like, what does he see going forward for like his young players on their team? He said Jordan Poole, he sees him being an all-star. He sees Kuminga being like an elite defensive player, and he sees Wiseman being a MVP contender. And I was just like, for him to say that, I'm just this dude is really good. Because I remember his rookie year, they were talking about he was like, I mean, he was kind of in the talks or the running for like rookie of the year, but he didn't play that much. And he wasn't as impressive as like Anthony Edwards.
Anthony Edwards
so
for sure.
Like he wasn't very high on that, but he was still on that like top 10.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I'm just like, I'm just really sick of all this Warriors hate. Like people, I just wish people would just admit they just don't like the Warriors. Like they don't like what they've done.
I don't
to
like them niggas, okay? I don't like them. I don't like that light-skinned nigga Steph and his light eyes. He think he better than everybody. I don't like Clay's light behind either, thinking he better than everybody. I don't like Draymond, always talking and yapping. Shut up! Scoring
Draymond,
4 points and still talking.
Draymond is the only one on that team that thinks he's better than everybody. To be honest,
Man, forget them. I don't like them.
but I wish like just like the people, the talking heads on TV would admit it, and they just can't do it. And I'm just like, dude, they keep proving time and time again that they're serious. Like it's like nobody thought. I didn't even think, as a Warriors fan, like I didn't even think they were gonna make it to the finals this year, let alone win. But
At
what
the beginning of the season, I was like, oh, they might be doing something cooking because they started off the season great.
they started off great, but then like
yeah.
after like All-Star break, it was just downhill. I know it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, they'll make it to the playoffs. They might get through the second round, but that's about it. But then they lucked up and had to go against Dallas.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, y'all messed up. Now these
They
young,
really did.
now
Like,
these
'cause
young
Phoenix was
kids-
really Phoenix was, I don't know if they was gonna win, but they was gonna give y'all a challenge. That was probably gonna be the toughest team y'all play if y'all had to play the Phoenix instead of Dallas.
I think so.
Because Phoenix I think would have beat Boston in the Phoenix at like its best, not what we saw in Dallas. I don't know what that
Right,
was.
yeah, that was awful.
But the Phoenix that was playing great would have beat Boston too, I think. So I don't know what they about to do. Well, they might get Kevin Durant.
Yo, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that in that situation. I'm really curious. I haven't
All right.
done a lot of research into it yet, but it's just like a lot of stuff of what I'm seeing is people keep talking about how like it's a potential for the Warriors to pick him up again. I'm like, just stop talking. They're not getting Durant again. They don't want him. They need
That'd
to
be
build their
crazy.
future because they're talking about to get him, they would possibly need to trade Jordan Poole, Kuminga, Andrew Wiggins. I'm like, why would they get rid of that? Their core future. Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
I mean, I don't know. Like,
I mean,
you got to think about it. It's not something you can just dismiss. I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying, but it's Kevin Durant. That's been my thing. It's Kevin Durant. It's not like we talking about like even James Harden or somebody. This is Kevin Durant.
It's not like we're talking about
We
what's
talking
his
about
name?
De'Aaron Fox.
No.
This
What
is
is
Kevin
dude's
Durant.
name? Is it Jalen Brunson?
We
Dude
ain't
for
talking about
Dallas.
him. No, we not
Why-
talking about Jalen
Like,
Brunson.
why
at
did
all.
the Knicks do so much to build a team around Jalen Brunson?
They gave him 100 mil M's, bruh.
Like, sure, he's good.
I
But,
would
like-
be in the NBA, man. If my mom ain't tell me I wasn't gonna go to the NBA, I would have made it. I would have made it. If she would have responded, "Baby, you can do anything you set your mind to," and not like, "No, you not." I would be in the NBA right now. I would have 100 M's to my name.
I
no.
don't know if you would be in it right now, but
Well, maybe I got a few years
you,
in for
you
3-4
at,
seasons.
You at best would have had the story of Nate Robinson.
Which would be a good story, I think.
It would have been okay, but his
Been a good
claim was
story.
being in the dunk contest though. Like that's not.
He won like one playoff series too. Actually, he was like the best player on the. He was like the second, third. Well, I don't know. He went off though. You remember that when he was playing for the Bulls? He was like.
I do remember that.
He was like they went on a little run with him,
Mhm.
but nah, I'll take that though. I'll take Nate Robinson. I beat
That's
Dwight
so
Howard in the dunk
funny.
contest.
The dunk
Like, I'll
contest?
take it.
You ain't gonna beat him in a dunk contest. What?
I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta go. Goodbye. I gotta go.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess you're right. I think I'm just hopeful that they don't actually try to get him. Would they win again? Sure. But I don't want them to go that route again.
But what I'm hearing is that I don't think they would want to either, though. I think they still a little upset that he left the first time. Actually, there's like a little bit of like, even Draymond kind of went into it, but yeah, there's like a little bit of like they cool, but it's still like we not necessarily dying to have you back now, cause he left. Like it's like, all right, you left, go, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so but the Phoenix is that's a real, cause he named them in Miami. He named them as like the two teams he really want to go to.
I think I like him better with Miami than I do Phoenix.
Yeah, I just don't like Miami. I wouldn't want him to go there. I don't like, but I don't know. Phoenix would be, I mean, wherever he go, I really couldn't. Whatever team he goes to, I'm in on regardless.
Yeah,
because he's just that good. Like any team they put him on, he's automatically like they're a playoff team.
I agree.
Automatically.
Yeah, no, I don't want to say that yet. I'll wait a little while.
What?
I love Durant. He's amazing. But I still think that, like, he's not really the guy that's going to carry a team to a championship. I just don't think he's got that in him.
I don't know.
I mean, he hasn't proven it yet. Like, he had ample opportunity with the Thunder to do it and didn't do it. Only time he won is with Curry.
I can't dispute none of this. This is all fact.
And then he freaking had Kyrie. Like, Kyrie did it with LeBron
and James Harden, but they was hurt. They had little injuries, but
right,
still,
yeah. But like Kyrie did it with LeBron, but LeBron can carry a team to it. And I think he had to like learn how to do that when he went to Miami, and then became a better player through that. But then I don't know, like that was the whole point of like Durant going to Golden State, was for him to like learn how to do that and then go somewhere else and do it. But he hasn't, in his defense, he hasn't been like healthy long enough to really like do it. So that's why I said I'm gonna wait a little bit. I really want to see him healthy for a couple seasons outside of Golden State, because I do think he can eventually get there.
He getting older though.
He is. Like it needs to happen right now. Because what is he, 33, 34?
33. He'll be 34. Yeah, because him and Steph like the same age, so he'll be 34. And but he'll get the type of. I ain't gonna lie though. I can see Kevin Durant still like how LeBron aging right now. I can see Kevin Durant like kind of doing the same thing. Just cause like he's so tall, like he can hit any shot he wants
anywhere.
That's never going away. Like you don't have to like that. Don't take no athletic. I mean, it does, but it don't. You know what I mean? It's not the way he can get his shot at 7. He's 7 foot legit too. Like that's not.
Yeah.
So it's like, his game's going, as long as he like his leg injuries are like good, he gonna be getting 20, all easy, just cause he can score so easy. But I don't know. I just want to see whatever team. I'm obviously not every team's gonna want to get him, but whoever he go to, they automatically like in the mix. He's that good, like for real. Like I'm not exaggerating that. Like Kevin Durant can hoop.
For sure.
He's a real hooper.
For sure.
He one of the greats. He like top 15, low key.
Yeah, I agree.
Low key. Yeah.
It's just he's not Chef Curry. That's all I'm saying.
Man, forget Steph. I'm mad. It's a podcast I like too. That's why I didn't want them to win. Because first of all, forget the Celtics. I'm mad I even rooted for them. It felt anti-black. Forget y'all. I'm glad y'all lost. Forget y'all. But I hope y'all lose everything y'all ever do, Boston. I don't like Boston sports.
And I don't think Boston even makes it to the finals next year.
Forget them. They shouldn't, because they got it off Giannis and them being hurt, or Chris Mid, because Giannis is coming back.
Right, that's my main point. Giannis
He like
is
a
gonna be
pterodactyl in
the finals
Jurassic
next
Park.
year.
He coming back. He is gonna come back, man. But yeah, nah, forget them. But I'm mad because I said I didn't want Steph to win because I knew as soon as if he won, they was gonna start the Kobe conversations with him and Kobe, and they already starting it.
Are they? I haven't heard that one before.
No, I'm hearing certain podcasts would be like, "Oh, I got him over Kobe now in my top 10 or whatever." And
no, not yet.
I'm like, all right,
but maybe.
Okay, all right, y'all getting out of hand. Y'all getting out of control. My whole thing against Steph is like, all right, he wins, and I can't. He does win. He's won 4 champions. He wins. He just ain't got the year in year out durability of somebody on that. If you start comparing them to Kobe's, MJ, Michael, or you know what I mean, Magic, you start that realm of people, all them cats was durable players. And Steph be he be going down for game long chunks of time. I might be nitpicking at that point. But still though, if you gonna put him alongside those names,
see, I really hate that argument. I hate when people take away from somebody's legacy because they're hurt. I feel like.
I mean, it's a thing though. I mean, obviously there is a level of it's out of your control, but
right.
It's a lot of elements of sports that are out of your control, but we still hold people responsible. What? Losses. That's not always on the star player when a star player loses.
Well, yeah, that's true. But but that's still something different though. It's still
out of your control. You wasn't, you couldn't guard everybody. You couldn't score every point.
That's just different. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't like it. I don't like taking away from people because it's not something I don't hold. I get it. You do gotta give a little bit of grace for injury because injuries they are out of. But still though, at the end of the day, there's a realm where it's these cats were not great just because they were great. They also were healthy, or they were able to you know what I mean. And some of that, you're right, some of that is luck, but sometimes a lot of that is also just sheer force of will too. In a lot of ways, I agree. All them cats get hurt. Everybody gets hurt. Everybody gets hurt, and that a lot of them play through it.
Yeah, it's pain tolerance,
But again, so I'll remind you something about Curry. Do you remember? I think it was April of 21, May, when Curry was just going off, averaging almost 40 points. He was hurt when that happened. He had either fractured or bruised his tailbone or something, and he couldn't he couldn't move that well, and that was when he did it. It was right after that. He sat down that next game and then just went off for the next month and a half. And when I saw that happening, I was just he's amazing. This is what the greats do. When they're still hurt, because they would still show him grimacing, even if he fell or something. He was always just very sensitive to that spot when he would fall.
No, Steph is a tough dude. I'm not saying he's weak. That's not what my argument is either. He's not.
I don't know, but yeah, I don't think
tough.
I don't think he should be compared to Kobe. Again, different players.
They're very different. Now Steph he's 1-on-1 though, but just different players.
Right.
As much as I want to nitpick at Steph, I got a lot of I can't help but respect it. He changed the game.
He's tough.
But I believed in him I was a fan since I'm one of them. I was a fan at Davidson, baby. I was there. Steph, I was there for your first college game. I remember, baby. It's me. It's V, baby. That's me with Steph. I was there from the beginning.
Yeah, I wish I could say that because I wasn't into basketball like that before, especially not college. I definitely had no interest.
It was pretty obvious to me. He went 7th, but it still was very obvious. Yo, this dude's gonna be. Like he is son of an NBA player, and he killing like this in the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's that's how I got hit is watching.
Like he shouldn't have gone 7th realistically.
No, he should have went way. It was 2 point guards picked ahead of him.
Right.
It just was like, yo, he should have went way higher. Like that, you just get. It's all about foresight. Where the league was going to, he was the perfect player. It was like the perfect like timing and like era, everything like perfect. Like basketball, this game was opening up. He came in at the perfect time. If he would have came in 10 years before that, he would not be shooting like he's shooting now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's how the game is played. But he came in at the perfect time. But yeah, salute Chef. Friend of the show. And if you ever want to come on, babe, talk about your, your basketball and other thing.
And top 10 greatest of all time.
And your favorite Christian rappers. Because he probably got an opinion on that.
What?
His favorite Christian hip hop, he got.
I don't know whose favorite Christian hip hop is.
Who his is?
Yeah, I don't know who his is.
I'm saying he can talk about that on the show.
Oh, I kind of wasn't listening to what you were saying, to be honest. So I don't know. I don't really know where you were going. I turned you off a little bit because I needed to say that he's top 10 of all time.
Whatever.
And if anybody wants to debate that, you're ridiculous.
You know who I think is top 10 and he should never, really he's like top 3 and in my mind, I'll never move him out of that, is Bill Russell.
Okay.
I know that sounds crazy. They was playing.
I mean, it doesn't.
They was playing in big, like wicker baskets. I get people think, this is an oval area. I get that. But nah, every story I read about Bill Russell is like, yo, no, he was a real deal. It had nothing to do with the time.
I mean, he was going against Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain only has 2 championships because of Bill Russell. So,
right.
Like and Wilt Chamberlain is always top 10 in people's list. But
Wilt Chamberlain is also like, every story I read about, it's reading about players from the 60s, like reading about biblical Old Testament characters. It's like, all right, it's like you got to suspend disbelief a little bit, but it's also like, yo, I believe this too, though. I believe this happened. It's like a weird mix of like, this might not happen today, but I believe it happened back then. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But yeah, Warriors. I don't know. I love them. I've grown. It started with like Clay and Steph, and then I grew outward, and I'm just like, I love the whole organization now.
You love the owner.
I love the owner. Like Bob Myers is brilliant. Like
I was wondering if you knew all the rest of
Joe Lacob. Like everybody from the top down. Come on, man. It's a great organization.
You should go apply for a job with them.
Bro, I would in a heartbeat.
Be like their social media coordinator. You put all their little promo videos together.
That would be an amazing job. I would definitely move to the Bay Area for that.
Man, they gotta pay you. Tell them to pay you because you're gonna be. You don't want to be living check to check on the Warriors. Everybody,
I do.
Don't do.
I do it. It's worth it.
Not in the Bay. Not in the Bay of all places.
I mean, check to check there is like. I mean, check to check is check to check. It don't matter.
Not when your rent is $3,000.
Yeah, but that means that my paycheck is still like $6,000.
Apparently, that's not always the case. Apparently. With Uber, I meet people from all over now, and I was asking somebody from LA. I was like, "Dude, like the wages really like transfer like that?" He's like, "No."
If you work at Wendy's, it's still $11 an hour.
You're not gonna be able to afford an apartment either here off Wendy's paycheck. It's
Dang.
the same thing. Yeah.
All
right.
Nah, we gotta go. I'm not gonna bring up another topic right now.
Okay, save it for next week.
I will. Also, last thought: Curry is a great defender. Thanks everybody for coming and joining us here on the Shall Remain Nameless. Oh, while we're speaking of defense, the reason the Warriors won is that Andrew Wiggins is the best defender that Jason Tatum has been up against in the playoffs.
That's probably true. Wiggins he went up a level. It was kind of crazy. Like, this is the Wiggins I always thought he could be though.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting hit back when we was living on Central. I was like, that's when I got hip to Wiggins. I was like, this boy got it. But then he failed me the first 6 years of his career.
Because he was in a poor organization. And then he went to a great one.
Oh, I forgot how you believe in.
And he went to a great one. And then they knew how to coach him.
Right.
Also, I don't know, just having Draymond, I think, is like invaluable. And Iguodala on the bench is just invaluable.
Them are like 2 extra coaches, for real.
Yeah. So
yeah, low key.
I just think that was great. Because I heard Draymond talk about, like, he was the one that figured out to force them to go left. And, like, that changed the series. And so, like, forcing Tatum and Brown to go left.
I didn't know Jalen couldn't dribble like this.
Right. Nobody paid attention to it.
Like, because he was always crossing cats up and pulling up. But that don't mean you can dribble. That's not the same thing as being able to get to the basket with your handle. Those are 2 different things, actually. But I thought off of those, because he would like go through his legs, do something, then pull, do a step back, and I was like, oh, he got handles. And then they started forcing him to drive, and he was like a middle schooler.
I was like watching a podcast and he was talking about it. He was just like, yeah. And then we started forcing him to go left. They started dribbling off their foot, started throwing it in the bleachers. It's just like, oh yeah, this is over. And it's just like, he's like, once I noticed that, it was a wrap.
Yeah, Jalen need to get some cones and just practice dribbling between the cones.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I think that they won't make it next year, because I don't think he and Tatum get to that level of
think they got figured out? Because that happened too. Like,
yeah, I think
they get exposed, and now every other team knows.
Because I think that's what happened with, like, when the Warriors lost to Cleveland that next year in 2016, is like teams started figuring them out. And like,
I think that had more to do with the injuries, actually, because Steph actually was hurt that year.
Oh,
low key, on the low, he got hurt and then came back, and he was never like the same player he was when they was like really killing it. And so I actually think they ran out of gas too, because winning 73 games was within itself like a grind.
Oh, thank you. Oh, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because I say that all the time. I think mentally, they were exhausted.
Yeah,
especially because they had to, like, to get to the finals, they had to go back 3-1.
Because 9 times out of 10, I think the Warriors beat them in that finals. They was up 3-1. Like, they weren't up 3-1 by like I think they beat them, but the Cavs pulled it.
They just didn't have any more juice. Because, like, again, they had to go 3-1 against the Thunder right before that, who was like,
true.
I forgot. Yeah, that was the best series I've seen in a long time.
I actually think the Cleveland Warriors end up being, they both were good for their own reasons, but like obviously the stakes were higher, so I get the Cleveland one up a little bit higher. But that series was good. The Thunder Warriors series was like amazing. Because like the Warriors was like Thunder was like the perfect like foil to what the Warriors did. Yeah. It was kind of crazy. Yeah.
And they won that series. But then if you remember, in like late stretches, Curry was just like ripping Westbrook and Durant, just taking the ball from him. And this is why I say Curry is a great defender. He's like not looked at as a good defender, and I think that's only because he's 6'2". There's just not a lot of elite defenders that are under 6'4". And even people that are elite defenders that are 6'4", I think it's like 2 of them, like Gary Payton, and I think John Stockton is on that list, just because he like Chris had Paul, a lot of steals.
Chris Paul, Drew Holiday, Marcus Smart, them cats. But that's you right though. It's not a lot of
but
destructive.
Curry always makes timely steals, and like
Jason Kidd.
Jason Kidd. So it's just like, he's just small. Like, I feel like I don't like playing the what if game, but if Curry was like 3 inches taller, I don't think there would be any debate. I think people would be talking about he's the greatest ever. I do think that. I also think they wouldn't have lost. I think they would have won more than 4 out of the last 8 years if he was a little taller. But he's not, so we can't really go that route. But
he might be the greatest 6'5" and under player. That might be in play for him. That actually probably is already the truth.
Yeah, I would say so. I can't.
We name players under 6'5"
better.
or under 6'6" and under. I think he might be the greatest already in that range.
I do still think they have enough to win 2 more titles.
Next year they're gonna be in it goes through them. Like you gonna have to take it from them next year because they're gonna be a lot better.
Yeah,
I do think that. I don't have any doubt in my mind. Like they're gonna be a lot better next year. Actually.
Yeah. I think Boston woke them up. I don't think anybody else they went against playoffs woke them up. Suns would have woke them up, but they didn't play the Suns.
Yeah, they weren't challenged this playoffs like that. Like I thought they would be going into it.
That's why I think it was so funny with like the Memphis series. It's like Warriors didn't play well that whole series. They had they might have had like 30 minutes that whole series where they looked good. They just didn't. They played super sloppy. And I mean, that's something that was Memphis' defense, but it's still like Boston's defense was better.
Right.
And they showed up. I love talking Warriors. This is great. I'm so glad you wanted to have this conversation. What they
Spotlight, big stage, 2,000 fans singing in the rain, bodyguards, limousines. This is the way I see you in my dreams. Paparazzi flash, 100 pictures of all of you, hanging on my bedroom wall. I'm a kid again. Feel like 13, but I mean, since we fell in love, girl, I be a groupie, baby. Cause you are my superstar, yeah. I'm your #1 fan. Give me your autograph and sign it right here on my heart. I'll be a groupie, baby. Cause you are my superstar. I'm your #1 fan. I'll do all that I can to show you how super you are. Front row, there I am. Jumping and hollering, waving your hand.
Shut
Do you
up!
notice me? Do you feel me? Drove 12 hours, girl, just to see your pretty face one more time.
Oh my gosh. I just had to look up who that is. I was like, it's probably Usher, but I wasn't.
You didn't know that was Usher?
Again, I don't like singing, ladies and gentlemen. I was never into R&B.
You missing out.
I listen to more house music than I listen to R&B.
Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye.